for those who are in the live in the wee hours. This is when the portal is at its lunation. Not only are we having a 6-6 portal where we are portaling through, but it is also, ooh, I just love it how the birds out here with me. We portaling through with the birds, Ashe. And we're looking at the moon, which is also in Pisces. So with this lunation, with this 6-6 portal, I like to always remind us that the portal is an activation. The portal is an energetic hotspot, and it is activating the receptive activity of six being a receptive completion for the 3, 6, 9 dimensions. For those who know, the 6 is the receptive completion, 3 being the creative completion, and 6 being receptive, and the 9 being the spiritual completion, which tomorrow is a 9-9. For those who are on the 5D calendar, for those who have the 5D calendar, tomorrow is an 18-18 days, so which is like a 9-9 portal. 18-18 portal, meaning in the year of 2018. Thank you, birds. In the year, greetings. In the year of us being on the 5D calendar, we are in the year of 2018. So it is the 18th day of the month, in particularly in Gemini. What month? We are in the month of Gemini on the 5D calendar. We are in the month of Jehudi, which is the month of Gemini. So in that month, we are on the 18th day of that month, right? Which means the sun is at 18 degrees because every degrees is a day. So the 18th day of the year 2018. So it's an 1818 day, which means 1818 portal, which is a 9, right? 8 and 1 is 9. So we go from today, which is a 6 portal, today being on the Gregorian calendar, a 6-6 portal, to tomorrow on the 5D calendar being in 9 portal, a 9-9 portal by the 1818. Ashe, with a theme. Basically, it's an 1818 portal with the theme being a 9. So what is this portal? For those who don't know, I always talk about it being an energetic hotspot. You hear these portals, we see them all the time. Some of you may have even seen it. It's a 6-6 portal, 6-6. What is that? And the portal are these energetic hotspots. It's like a spiritual plug-in. It allows, especially and particularly those who are bridging from the 3rd dimension into the 5th dimension, those who are shifting and sifting into the next dimension. These portals are energetic hotspots that kind of catapult you through and into the next level of you. It's a portal in time, right? And we are vessels of time. So as vessels of time, we are portaling through time. Ashe? So this 6-6 portal is getting us well on our way, and the 6 is a receptive completion. So this theme, we're feeling the theme of receptivity doubling up because of the moon, which is a feminine energy, and the moon is in Pisces. Again, another feminine energy. Pisces being a spiritual house, the spiritual house of Pisces. And so the lunar nodes are in its final degrees of Pisces and Virgo. So this moon being in Pisces is activating this for us, right? We're going through a metamorphosis. Yes, Ashe, you see that. So we are metamorphosing through. Where are my butterflies, right? Where are those of us who are going through the chrysalis stage? And this is like really the receptive activity of this chrysalis stage. So you are in the receptive mode. You are in the membrane, right? And the membrane is the memories. Again, feminine energy. I got to do a whole new bid on that as well. So what are you receiving, right? And I dropped the video about it here on TikTok, and I'll probably be able to drop it here on YouTube as well. What is it that you're receiving? Because a lot of us just look at receiving as what we can readily see, right? But receiving is also It takes humility. What are you in the humility to receive? Are you receiving information that is being highlighted to you by Pluto's revelation, the true revelations of Pluto that are here to empower you, which, by the way, I am feeling a lot more. I can't even say a little bit. I'm really feeling empowered by the confirmation of this 6-6 portal and the moon in Pisces, right? So what is it confirming for you? What is the receipt? How many of you got your receipts? How many of you felt something today, right? And for those of you who felt something, drop it in the chat. Drop a 6666 or a 666. Because if you look at the date, you will actually see 3 sixes. You'll see a 6 for the month. You'll see a 6 for the day, and you'll see a 6 for the year of 2026. So drop that 666 if you felt that triple times. Drop that 66 just by portaling through. And for those of you who may be in 5D and have the 5D calendar, drop that 1818 or that 99. Ashe. Thank you, 6-6. Where my 6 at? How many of you have the humility of the receptive activity, the receptive completion, right? Drop that 6-6 portal, right? If you have a Pisces moon, drop that Pisces moon. Who in here has a Pisces moon? Is your moon in Pisces? Or are you feeling the energies of the Pisces moon, which is calling us into the spiritual maturation? Right? This is where the North Node is taking us. North Node in Pisces. Our spiritual destiny is about the maturation, right? And third, let's not leave out Third Eye Atlas, right? The birds are like, y'all hear these birds? The birds are coming with the word, okay? The birds are the spiritual thoughts. And since we're speaking about the spiritual house, here are the spiritual thoughts coming to give it to you. Right? So what is this? It's a couple of things that this moon is highlighting to you. Where are we now after Pisces? Right? In June right now, in the month of Gemini, we are 3 months after Pisces. Pisces being the last month of the year, the last month in the year, in the astrological year, in the cosmic year, however you want to look at it, in the true year. Right? And so when you have the first 3 months, Gemini is in the first 3 months. It is closing out the first quarter of the year, the first quadrant. So while we're in Gemini, we're seeing that closure of the first quadrant from when we left Pisces, and who's highlighting it but a Pisces moon. And so that's the first 3 months. So there's a 3 right there. Another 3 to look at is where we were with the full moon in Sagittarius. And with the full moon in Sagittarius, the moon right now being in Pisces is 1, 2, 3 houses over. So we're seeing that 3 again. 3 houses over is another quadrant over from Sagittarius. That's Capricorn, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. So it's 3 quadrants over. So we're seeing that 3, and let's not forget, here's the other 3, right? That was the first 3, the second 3, the other 3 is the third 6 in the date. 3 sixes. So that's the third 3. And there's power in 3. There's always power in the number 3. And what that highlights is that the 3 is the creative completion, which often represents when things are being brought into the physical essence. So from the spiritual, from the ethers into physical tangibility, so to speak. It's making it plain. It's bringing it into our physical manifestation. So something there is being manifested, is brought into your awareness. Ashe? Something there is being brought into your awareness, our awareness. 1818, thank you. So what is it that is being confirmed for you? Are you receiving your receipt of what is? And there's a lot that has been highlighted to us, particularly since Pisces. This spiritual maturation is not to be taken lightly. And what I'm getting from it is the North Node. The North Node in Pisces, which is really highlighting the maturation, the spiritual maturation with Third Eye Atlas, who has amplified it for us. right? Particularly in those 6 months from September to March, from Virgo to Pisces, from South Node to North Node, right? Bringing us into this spiritual maturation in its fullness. So this moon in Pisces is reminding us of that as it's in Pisces with the North Node, while the North Node is in its final degrees before shifting out of Pisces. So the question is, did you get it? Did you get your amplification? Did you get your spiritual maturation? Because this is what's needed for 5D, for the next level, for those who are leveling up. Let me tap it up. Tap it up for those who are here in 5D. Drop it in the chat. I'm 5D. Drop it in the chat. Fifth dimension, just 5D. How many are here for the fifth dimensional shift? This is a part of that. Because for us to enter into the love frequency, for us to enter into the unity frequency, it's going to take some time shifting. It's going to take some time moving. And it's going to take a spiritual maturation. Because part of what's helping us into the fifth dimension is entering into the Aquarian age. So as we are entering into the Aquarian age, as we've already entered into the Aquarian age, this is what is helping us more into the Aquarian age, because our North Node is about to enter Aquarius, which is going to join Pluto that's already in Aquarius. Pluto is already ushering us in. It was the first planet right now that's ushering us into Aquarius out of the outer planets. Here comes Pluto bringing us into the Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, by doing what? Flushing us out. Right? Because Pluto is that death to rebirth transformation, revelation of truth, empowerment. So this is here to empower you. And before we get there, before the North Node, this is how you know the universe is so divinely orchestrated. It's so orderly. This is what you call divine order, because we need these tools. We need this spiritual maturation before going into the helping us into the Aquarian age, which is about humanitarianism, which is about communal activity in this humanitarianism. It's about collective collaboration. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Collaboration in humanity, which is humanitarianism, right? True humanitarianism is us being collaborative with one another, right? On a deeper regard. And it takes a spiritual maturation to do so. So you can see as the North Nodes have been transiting from, even from when it was in Aries, bringing us into a soul sovereignty. Because it is when you master that soul sovereignty, then you can be able to master the spiritual house, the spiritual maturation. It's hard to kind of step into this spiritual maturation without soul sovereignty. It's like you gotta be willing to walk in that spiritual authority. You gotta be willing to walk with your soul sovereignty wherever you go. And that's how you are stepping up to enter into the fifth dimension. This is not something that, for those of us that are coming from the shadows of 3D, this is not something you just walk into. 5D is not a location. It is expansion in the consciousness. It is you being able to expand from the third dimension into the fourth dimension, into the fifth dimension. That takes spiritual awareness. That takes soul sovereignty, right? That takes even what we were supposed to gain from when the North Node was in Taurus, to be able to honor the matriarchal energy, the feminine energy, right? Let me see what some of you are saying as I go on and on, or better said, I pass through my field. Ashe, that's what some of us are sensing as well. You pass through your field of information. as we are transiting through time, as we remember that we are fields of information. You are transiting through space and time in your field of information. Ashe, there are false identities waking with false light, perpetrating the false self and creating false sense of security, and that so too is also true. And this is why this sifting through is so important, because of this false matrix, because of the mimicking of this energy. And there are false energies that are perpetrating the light right now, because as more light is pouring in, right, the desperate energies, as I've said, get more and more desperate, and they will mimic the light. So a lot of us have to be able to recognize true light. And this is why it's important that Pluto, God love Pluto, that Pluto in Aquarius right now is asking us to break through the falsities. It's bringing the revelations of truth right on through in a death to rebirth type of, way. The transformation is going to be the change that you have within thee, right? What you're willing to let go and release within you. That's the death to rebirth transformation. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Are you willing to change concepts that you thought was what it was all your life? A lot of people are waking up to family members that they're realizing this is not the truth. You did not love me as you say you love me, right? And I love you no less. But that love that you say that you had is not true. It's encumbered by fears. You can only do for me what you can as far as your wounds would let you. And people are really gripped by their wounds, doomed by their wounds. So even as those that may say they love you, how can they when they only love themselves to a certain degree? When they have fear and they have wounds that are holding them back and holding them bound and holding them down, how can they? And how can you expect any more from them? This is why acceptance is so important, right? The love frequency needs acceptance, right? Let me see, make sure I got this. I feel like I had left something out there. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the hearts. I hope you know you don't come from Africa. I hope you know you don't come from Africa. Does it matter what I know? Does it matter what you know? Right? I didn't even say nothing about Africa, did I? Maybe you just going by my earrings. Maybe something is telling you something. Right? We come from where do you say? Who do you, I feel like Yeshua, who do you say I am? Right? It's not for me to debate that with you. That's neither here nor there, whether I'm born there, from there. Y'all worry about the wrong things sometimes. How's that soul doing? Where's the humility in your soul? You're worrying about the wrong things. We got too much going on for you to be worrying about what continent I'm from. Know where you're going. It don't matter where I'm from. It matters where I'm going. Ashe? Let me not say it don't matter where I'm from, because I know it matters where my soul's coming from. And it matters to know where you're coming from, to know where you're going. But in the regards of where you got it, you got it bad. You got this. You could keep that one. Ashe, ashe. Humble. Let me see what you're saying. Humble the self to identify body. Is that body? Oh, boldly. Humble the self to identify boldly the false ego to be in the divine. Ashe, ashe. True peace, love, and light. Welcome in. Celestial listeners, welcome in. Humility is a necessity because we have to humbleize that ego. There's a lot of ego activity going on. So this confirmation right now, right? Even in that comment that was said, that's the ego. The ego wants to be heard, wants to be seen, wants its narrative to be spinning and spinning and spinning. And we need humility in the ego right now. humbleizing the ego, because the ego is a block for so many. There's a lot of egoic moves going. And so the question is, thank you for reminding me of that, is what can you put aside in your ego? Because the ego wants what it wants, and it takes a lot of self-discipline. I'm just loving this bird backdrop right here. I'm loving the bird being here and joining us right now, right? Ashe. Let me see what some of you are saying here. Let me see. Let me see what they say. We talking about spiritual talk on the fifth dimensional shift. Yep. That's right. That's right. We shifting. Yes, soul is very important. People need to go within. Ashe, you worrying about what's going on the outside. Some of y'all worrying about what's going on the outside, and it ain't got ish to do with what's going on within. This is what I like to tell people or ask, what that soul do? What is your soul doing? What is your soul saying right now? Right? You got a lot going on around you, and some are not knowing that the ego is blocking a lot. Where's your wise counsel? How many of you can join with wise counsel? That's the feminine energy, by the way. Let's go a little deeper within right now, because that wisdom, that receptive activity is the feminine energy, and that's being able to go deep within your subconscious mind, which is the black box of your soul that holds your past lives and all of that stuff. When you do regression therapy, it taps into your subconscious. So this is the wisdom. When you go into the darks, the subconscious, it's the dark. It's sub means under. So when you go back into the seed, as a seed, we do what? We're buried in the earth. When you come into life, you come through the womb in the dark. You growing like a seed in the dark, in the unknown, in the primordial waters, in the wisdom. So in the receptive activity, I say unto us, where is the wisdom? How many of us can be humble enough? This is a part of the receptive activity. See, we talk about it, but a lot of people don't know how to access it, how to be receptive. It takes a certain humility. It takes self-discipline, right? The humility to have that self-discipline to quiet the thoughts of the ego that has a narrative spinning that is protecting your wounds, protecting your traumas, protecting your dramas that are the traumas from the wounds. How many of you have the self-discipline that no matter what the ego is showing you, or with these two eyes, that you can go within and listen to wise counsel, the wisdom within, and let it override what the ego is telling you, right? For whatever reason. I don't even care about the reason, because see, the thing is, sometimes we over-reason some things. Sometimes, and the ego be having a valid point. This is why you just got to tell the ego to shut up sometimes. Yeah, you got a valid point, but be quiet right now. I need wise counsel. I need wisdom, and that is true receptive activity. Right, bird? This bird is active right now in the wee hours. Right now, but whoever is here, I'm telling y'all, we portaling through, because it is in the wee hours of the night, right? The 6-6 portal. I know for a lot of people right now, they're like, wait a minute, today is now the 7th. Yes, according to the Gregorian calendar, according to mankind's time, it is. But I have the self-mastery right now of my receipts say that this is still the night of the day that they call the 6th. It is night all the way through until day breaks. The day does not begin until day breaks. When day breaks, that is the next day. Until then, we are still in the lunation of the night. And this moon in the lunation of the night is a Pisces moon on the 6-6. So the peak of the 6-6 portal is with the moon. It's when it collabs with the moon in Pisces. So we are very actively traversing through this portal right now. So anyone who taps in right now, we portaling through together. We on this 6-6. We are in agreement. We are in confirmation. Whether you like it or not, whether it's somebody who agrees or not, happy 6-6 and welcome to the portaling through. We're portaling through together. We are in agreement on these frequencies. We're aligned on these frequencies right now, and holding to the truth of time. This is the restoration of time, and this is why I love the 5D calendar. For those of you who are in alignment with what I'm saying, you may want to tap in with the 5D calendar. You may want to get this 5D calendar because it is a tool. This is not just a calendar like you go into stores and you buy a calendar. Let me get the calendar for 2026, even though it's really 2018. This is not that kind of calendar. This is a calendar. This is a tool. This is a spiritual tool to help restore to the origins of time, to help us return to the origins of time. The month that we are in is in Gemini. We are not in the month of June that they wanted to give to us. We are in the third month of the year because the year begins in spring, not in January. It begins with the spring equinox. So that is, being that that is the true new year, the first month is Aries. We are in the first quarters of the year. We are in the month of Gemini. And according to the 5D calendar, which is Kemetically inclined, it is the month of Jehudi. Jehudi is the messenger. Gemini is about what? Information, messages. This is why Mercury rules Gemini. Mercury being the planet of what? Messages, information, travel. Because of how we travel, how information travels through time. We are all bottles of information. We are all barrels of light. Light, energy, and information, as I always say, is synonymous, right? Sophia, you know it. You know I'm on my Sophia energy. Sophia is the wisdom. The counterpart of the Christos energy is Sophia, and that is the wisdom. The Christos energy is the light and the knowledge, and the Sophia is the wisdom. We are in the receptive activity of the Sophia energy. Get your wisdom up. Get your Sophie up. This is where we get philosophy, right? You got it. See it right there, right? Philosophy and Sophie. Philosophy is the love of wisdom. Philos meaning love. Philos is a type of love. And Sophie being the wisdom. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Philosophy, love of wisdom. And we just had a full moon that highlighted that because it was a full moon in what? Sagittarius. The love of wisdom. Now we're in the moon being in Pisces. So 3 months after that, philosophy. In the lunation. So we're talking about the lunation. We're talking about the lunar nodes that align with the lunar, the moon. So you see what's happening here with the inner world, the emotions, the energy in motion is what the moon represents. The emotional aspect of you, your innermost part, the inner world. And so it's a lot happening with these energies, and that's why we got to allow the wisdom. We have to allow this feminine energy that is the receptive activity of wisdom. Wise counsel is allowing yourself to hear with humility, not with the ego. The ego wants to hear what it wants to hear, not with something that is comfortable to you. Be willing to be uncomfortable and take in the wisdom. The philosophy. Have some philosophy about you, right? I like that. I'm going to start saying that. Have some philosophy about you. Have some love of wisdom, which means you're willing to listen to the elders in your soul. You're willing to listen to the elders in the earth. which is the 2D consciousness, right? This is why when the nodes were in Taurus, why it was so important, because the Taurus is the house of basically of Jeb, right? It's the month of Jeb. It's everything about earth. One of the most earthiest signs, everything within the earth and returning to the earth, respecting the earth, getting the codes within the earth. What's a part of the earth? The trees, 2D consciousness, the trees, the plants. By you tapping into that, you are respecting nature's intuition. You are respecting the divine nature, the wisdom that comes through listening to divine nature. And see, some may find that hard. We used to laugh at tree huggers. Now I'm a top tree hugger. Some of us find it hard to sit with a tree and allow the energy to be exchanged between you and the tree, because the tree is holding information. Especially if you sit with a good old tree. I don't know how many of y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm sure many of you do. For if you found this frequency right now and you're traversing through this portal with me right now, I'm pretty sure you know what a good old tree, sitting beside a good old tree, feels like. And sometimes you wonder why it feels so peaceful and serene. It's because the tree is talking to you. The tree that holds so many codes has been here way before you. A good old tree. The elements of the earth that's been here way before mankind holds so much wisdom. So it was important for us to return to respecting our elders, which is respecting 2D consciousness, right? Before we became 3D. And when we respect that, we honor the wisdom. The wisdom are the elders, the ancestors, in the wind, in the atmosphere. It gets that deep. Right? I can't make it up. Y'all hear the birds? We are in some type of vortex right now. Like they non-stop right now. We are in some type of vortex, some type of frequency. And the bird is letting you know. The bird comes with the word. The bird is the word. And they represent spiritual thoughts. Fly high with your spiritual thoughts. Fly high. Fly high. All right, let me see if I make sure I got all of what you were saying. Yep, philosophy. Jehudi, the multiplication of messages. Yep, twin energy. Climbing the 12-strand DNA. Ashe, Ashe. Jehudi is the multiplication of messages. Yes, over and over, multiple messages. The twin energy. And as I said before, that twin energy is about the duality. It is about the messages that coming from Sagittarius, coming from the half that has never been told, right? 6 months in opposition from that brings us into Gemini or Jehudi, the twins, where the messages are there to unfold. And because that too represents how we see information when it is split into two, when the unity, when the unity that we come from, when the one, let me say it this way, when we come from one mind consciousness, right? We often can't see it. It's ambiguous. The two is bringing us from the ambiguousness of the one mind consciousness, because the two is within the one, but a lot of times you can't see it when it is so integrated with the one, right? So a lot of times for us to see what is there, it has to be, the information has to kind of come apart a little bit so you can see this is what this is and this is what that is. So that duality helps to see it in a manifested way, if that makes sense. A lot of us don't look at Gemini like that. We just see the two and we see confusion. Oh, the two, the twins. Or we look at people who are born in Gemini, and of course, you know, you got some unevolved people in that sign. And we look at the confusion because they're not evolved. When you're evolved in that sign, you know what that duality represents, right? It's helping to clear up some of that ambiguous information in the one mind consciousness, and separate it so that you can get clear messages on what is what, right? It's not to separate you, pin one against another. It's to separate for visibility. Just like we got two eyes. See, biology tells us what's going on, right? We got two eyes for a reason, but we know we got this eye. We know we got the first eye. And the first eye is more connected to one mind consciousness. Everything is up in there. But for us to see on a physical plane, it comes into what? Two eyes. And when we need to go back into unification, it goes back into what? One eye. When we transcend the duality and we get what we need to get and we understand what we need to understand, it comes back into unification. Ashe? You can't, truth, Ashe, you can't escape the truth. I can't make this up. Right? I'm just giving it to you as it comes. Like, y'all just with me right now, and however the downloads are coming, you just getting it while we here together. We're in this thing together. That's the song that came to my head right now. I don't know. Let me know. Oh, somebody said I got the lotion. You got the lotion? What? I got the lotion potion ready. Let me make sure I see what I'm seeing here. Intelligence. Yep. Intelligence before intellect. Oh, there is a difference. Some people are very intellectual. That don't mean they got divine intelligence. So intelligence before intellect, right? Intelligence directs intellect. Intuition informs intellect. Ashe, right? Not that there's nothing wrong with intellect, but intelligence guides it. Divine intelligence guides it, and therefore you see intellect. But it is not for you to be intellectual about everything, because that is when people become too logical with information, right? It is for intelligence, divine intelligence to move through. This is why, again, Gemini is that house of, it's about the mental activity, right? The movement of thoughts. Information moves through us as thought. So it is the mental activity, right? Ashe, ashe. Right, birds? Let me know. The tree is my best friend. That's what I'm saying. I know that's right. That's my best friend. The tree and the animals have been my best friend since 2022, when I had my first major timeline split. I don't know how many of y'all, like, let me see who've been experiencing timeline splits. Drop it in the chat if you've experienced timeline split. Just put timeline split. If you have experienced timeline splits ever, multiple times, one time, I don't care if it was one time, two times, four times, have you ever experienced timeline splits? Let me see who's experienced those. Let me see where we at. U-N-I-T-Y. Yep, that's unity. U-N-I-T-Y. You and I in the tree. What is that? Someone says, what is that? Okay, I'm going to explain that to you. Anyone else here? Anyone else has experienced timeline leaping? It's like quantum leaping, right? Come back down. There we go. For those who don't know, it's like quantum leaping. I believe I have. Can you explain a little bit more? Yes, I would definitely go into that. Let's talk about timeline leaping. U-N-I-T-Y. I like that. So timeline. When you timeline leap, it's like quantum leaping. It's like you're pushing the timelines are moving and pushing. And when you do certain work, when you do certain activities, mental work, soul work, right? Mental work, soul work. When you transcend, when you do shadow work, when you, what's the word I use? Excavate the soul excavation, any type of deep soul work where you literally collapse certain timelines. That's usually what happens. A timeline in you collapse, right? And you quantum leap into the next timeline. Quantum leaping or time pushing. And you are, this is why I say I am timelines apart from some people, right? This is something a lot of us don't know. And you wonder why sometimes things you just don't feel no more, whether it's food, whether it's people, whether it's places. There are things that you just literally outgrow. When you quantum leap, that thing no longer serves you. And this is where a lot of us, as we're shifting through the timelines, a lot of us sometimes get like weirded out a little. And it's like, why am I feeling weird about this? Why does this not work anymore? Because it doesn't resonate. Once you quantum leap, that thing that you have left behind, it no longer resonates. And whenever you try to keep doing that, all you're doing is confusing and confounding your soul. And you're kind of stagnating and holding it back, and you kind of just make yourself uncomfortable. It's like fitting into jeans that don't fit no more. You're trying to fit into clothes that just don't fit no more. That is your old suit. And so when you quantum leap, you push into another timeline. Some of us have quantum leaped so many times. Like I tell some people, look, I could be sitting next to you and I am timelines away from you. And I know people hear me say that, but they still don't get it. They'll be looking at me and be like, yeah. No, but you don't get it. You think because we're here having the same conversation and we're saying the same words and we're hearing the same thing, that we are in the same timeline, and we're not. Because we're experiencing what I'm saying, what you're hearing, we're experiencing it differently because we're in different timelines, right? So you don't quite grasp what frequency I'm on. The timeline also changes the frequency. Oftentimes when we quantum leap, we are in higher frequencies, we are in higher altitudes. So those things that are, in the lower vibrations, and it's not even a better than, less than, I'm simply being honest with what it is, but you are in a higher frequency. Your vibration is a different vibration. So we could be saying, like even right now, some of us, I'm saying this, and it doesn't mean you don't understand me, but to the degree in which it resonates is different because we're timelines apart, right? Not many people are in my timeline, and I've come to terms with that. And I'm not lonely either. A lot of times it's be like, damn, I'm so alone, but I'm not lonely about it. I understand what it is, right? So yeah, you'll be quantum leaping, and you'll be going from timeline to timeline to timeline. So why I was saying that is because to get back to the trees, this is why I was asking some of you who has been time leaping, right? Things are changing and you don't even realize you're leaping, you're quantum leaping. And when I had my first big time leap, because there's sometimes when you can kind of sense it that collectively there may be a major purging that's going on. And while there's this purging happening, the purging is happening to extract what is no longer needed and out of the way, whether it's physically, energetically, which is usually both and all of the above. And then it as it extracts, it catapults those who are a vibrational match into the next timeline, and it's always a vibrational match. So there's no intellect in it. There's no reasoning your way into this next timeline. It's either you match it or you don't. And when you match, it's like passing energetic checkpoints, right? And these portals help you portal through. Some of these portals help people amplify and portal through the next checkpoint, the next energetic checkpoint. And so when you get to that checkpoint, there's certain things that you just can't carry with you. Like the thing is just going to go off, and you're just not going to be able to pass that checkpoint. Right? And then some of us have to figure out, what are you carrying in your bag? What's in the bag of your soul? What are you carrying? What wounds are you still carrying? See, a lot of people think, this is why I say intellect don't get you there. A lot of people would think that because you know all of this. Don't get it twisted. We're in the age of the knowing, yes. We're gaining a lot more information, yes. But information by itself does not do it. You can be compiling so much information on you, in you. But if you are not having the humility and the self-discipline and the receptivity to gain wisdom with this knowledge, then you will not be able to embody some of this information in your consciousness so that it resonates on a true heart vibrational level so that you can quantum leap. This is why they say everybody can't go. See, people think you're talking about heaven. People think when you say, oh, everybody can't go, everybody not go. We're not talking about heaven. Right? This is the energetic checkpoints. And when we say everybody can't go, it means even within you, all the aspects of you can't travel through that checkpoint. There's some parts of you that you got to leave behind. And if you don't know what it is, you better go figure it out, because ignorance is no excuse. This is the way of the universe. It is according to your works. Show thyself, what does it say? Study to show thyself approved. Study to show. You see how they go hand in hand? It doesn't say just study. Study to show thyself approved. Ashe? So that you can transit through. And everybody can't see that. So when you know what it is, when you find out what it is, and this is the grace of the universe as well, because it doesn't make any sense that you go through and you're not ready. Because on that next level, in that next timeline, you're going to be expected to do more. To whom much is given, much is required. So if you're not ready, it doesn't even make any sense for you to pass that checkpoint. So it's really still beneficial and helpful to you. And by the grace of the universe, it is giving you time to get it right. So if you get to that checkpoint and you don't get through, the universe is saying, hey, go find out what kind of stuff you're carrying. Go check some wounds. Go dig deep in your soul and look to see if you had any traumas. Because if you did, that trauma left behind some wounds that you didn't process. And the universe doesn't care how much knowledge you gain. If you don't have the wisdom to process with humility, because experience teaches wisdom. So if you don't have the experience to give you the wisdom of what you need to process within you, then you will not be able to transit through. So this is why I say, and I say all that to say, thank you for that question, by the way, because it took me through all of that, and I guess somebody needed to hear it. I'm not going to say guess. I know somebody needed to hear it, because a lot of people mistake the fifth dimension for just knowing a whole lot of information, and that's only part of it. It really takes soul work. It really takes you being humble and having that feminine energy and put that ego down. And it's not about what you think is right. That's the thing. A lot of people think, well, I know this and this is right, so I'm going to go hard for this. That's not what it's about. The spiritual maturation is about understanding and wisdom. It is about taking the beauty of Venus into understanding, the war of Mars into wisdom. That is the maturation of those two personal planets as Third Eye Atlas updated them as it was passing through our solar system, and how it affects us here on Earth, because that is the harmony between the two. That is the harmony of Venus and Mars, going from beauty and war into understanding and wisdom. And it is the harmony that is being activated within you. A spiritual maturation that is within us all is that masculine, feminine energy. that says study war no more. So if you're trying to war through everything, this is not the way. It's a time for revolution. There is a revolution that is happening. It does not mean we have to war the way that we've been warring. It's about having the wisdom in this revolution. There is a difference. Ashe, ashe, and touche. So why was I saying that? Bring it back to me, Spirit. Okay, when I quantum leaped, there was a major leap. I know I was saying something. I think it was about the 2D consciousness. When I quantum leaped, right? It was one of those major ones where, being that I'm clairsentient and, very, like, I could feel everything, I could not be around people. So the trees were my friend. Just like someone here said, the tree is my best friend. The tree and the birds, like you hear the birds right here, the tree, the birds, the squirrels, the butterfly became my friend. By respecting 2D consciousness, it allowed me to even respect 3D consciousness at its primitive level, right? First, and really connecting back into the earth, because they give so many messages, right? We underestimate them, and we wonder why. This is why our ancestors honored certain animals, right? People think of it as animal worship. It's not animal worship. It is understanding the messages that comes through primitive 3D consciousness, which is an expansion of 2D consciousness, right? All we're doing is expanding from one consciousness into the next. We don't get rid of it. We expand. Even now, as we step into the 5th dimension, we don't get rid of 3D. We expand. It's a 3D expansion. And we expand by releasing the shadows of 3D. This is why it's important to release and remove the wounds. When you're in a particular dimension, it is the releasing of the shadows in that dimension that expands you into the next level of that dimension and into the next dimension, into the 4th dimension, which is time. This is why a lot of us are experiencing time the way that we do. This is why a lot of us who are oscillating between time and within time are seeing time differently. And most of us who are mastering time are the ones who are recognizing that, hey, this is not true time. This is not the true timeline. This Gregorian calendar is a false matrix. But we're going to utilize it for what we can. And this is why we have the portals. This is why the portals are so important. Because the truth can be found in their lies. When we awaken to the truth. When we realize, oh, thank you. Somebody posted something from Tupac that he had said, real eyes, as in your real eye, to realize the real lies. So I'm going to say it like this, because I often would say real eye to realize. But I'm going to say it like this, using what he said. It is when we use our real eye to realize the real lies that they tell, that you catapult into the next level, that you expand your consciousness, put it that way. So when you realize the lies, you expand your consciousness. What are we saying? That means when you realize the illusions, when you recognize the illusions, when the veils drop and you see the illusions for what it is, and you recognize this is an illusion, this is an intrusion of an illusion, it is not real, then you see true time reality, right? A lot of people are living in real time and even ideal time reality, but real time is not true. You could be real, that don't mean you true. Right? So when you realize, then you collapse that old timeline. When you realize the illusion, that timeline in you collapses and you expand in your consciousness. You shift in consciousness, and therefore you shift a timeline. in your consciousness. This is how we time travel through the dimensions in our mind, by shifting time through time through time. This is deeper than we think. This is why we got to go bigger than the surface level stuff. You got to be over that. This is not about the surface level stuff, and we got to be willing to put that ego down, because the ego got its own story. The ego is very, very masculine energy and does not allow receptive activity. Sometimes that misappropriated ego, I'm not going to say the whole ego, because the wise ego is good. That misappropriated ego pimps intuition. It pimps the feminine energy, and it does not allow for true wisdom. And some people do not allow wise counsel. Some people don't have wise counsel around them. They have a lot of people giving them information and telling them knowledge, but they don't have wise counsel, right? And this is one of the confirmations that I had gotten today that I'm going to share with y'all too. Take a trip to Jamaica, honey. Oh, I have been. You must not have heard. Welcome to Celestial Earth. You must not have heard. I just had my first retreat in Jamaica, and we got the second one coming up right away. We moving quick with the frequencies, doing 3 retreats in 1 year. So we got the second one coming up. You may want to look out for that. I did an ancestral retreat called Akua, which is Kemetic, for returning to the ancestors. Akua, respecting the ancestors, which are the ancestors within. That's a whole nother story, but you're going to want to, you may want to tap into the next one. So yes, I'm always in Jamaica, back and forth. I've always loved it since I was a child. It's not all that beautiful right now. It's still a beautiful place, a beautiful piece of land, but Jamaica too is going through its metamorphosis and its transition, and it has its, let's just say the rose-colored glasses that I had for Jamaica got knocked off of my face. And now I got to deal with it in real time through my true timeline reality, right? Ashe. You can message me. This is TikTok, right? Yeah, on TikTok, you can message me if you want any information, if you want a one-on-one. I do natal chart readings. I do spiritual consultation as a 5D pioneer. But you can connect with me there. You can message me there, or you can email me at akilatextry@gmail.com. And that's for those who want the 5D calendars as well. For anyone who's interested in a 5D calendar, you can either message me, or I would suggest on YouTube, email me. If it's TikTok, you can message me, and more likely I'll see the message there in TikTok. The email again is akilatextry@gmail.com, akilahtextri@gmail.com. Right? So one of the things I want to say too before I go on this receipt of the 6/6 portal, right? Let me make sure. Let me see if there's some. I know some of y'all was saying some things, and I did not get to timeline. Yep, 3D basis of living is survival. 4D is I think it's saying traditional or fun. 5D is thriving in the love frequency. Yes. Transitional. Yes. 4D is transitional. That's that transit in time. So the 4th dimension is like transitional from the 3rd into the 5th. And the 5th is when you are thriving in the love frequency. Thank you for that additive there. Expansion of the human from 3D. The multiplicity of dimensional existence. Ashe, and all the way. Knowing is only half the battle. That's right. Who in here watched G.I. Joe? You know that's G.I. Joe. We must be from the same era. Knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. Hey, Grand Rising. Excuse me, may I ask you, did you go to... I don't know what that says. Is that a place? Did I go to... I don't know the place. I don't know. I may have to look up what you said. Well, if I don't know it, I guess I have not been there. So, no, I haven't been there. But now you gave me something to look up. Seeing through the fog. Yes, that's what a lot of us are doing here. We're seeing through the fog. Seeing through the fog. Seeing through the smoke and mirrors. Because it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. Seeing through the illusions. There's a lot of illusions. So, whatever things that are coming up, know that you're here to see through that. Break through that. Break through the illusions. Things are not what they seem. And specifically with families, I have to say that some of us really got to do that work with families. That detaching is really important. This is why I did the video about detaching. Detach, 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 and let go. This was my receipt today, and that's what I was going to share with you all before I go. Okay, did I get all of them? I am see- I'm seeing that before the white race came into America, they were a type of is it 4D? Livity, with the narcissistic colonial mindset. Okay, okay. The West was brought down into a type of 3D, and there are variations. Okay, the West was brought down into a 3D, and there are variations. So you're saying that before the white race came to America, they were a type of 4D livity. Okay, okay, I see what you're saying. So the indigenous people were more like a 4D type of livity and then brought down into 3D. So they may have been accelerating um, and living. Of course, you know, the indigenous people lived more of the, I want to say, from the Taurus age. They lived with a certain type of respect in the Taurus age, the Taurian age, if you want to say it that way, which is honoring the earth codes and getting codes from the earth by respecting the earth, the what I call the Medun Netter, the divine netter and the divine energy of the earth. This is why we're not to get rid of the earth. We're supposed to expand from this 2D. I mean, of course we can't get rid of it, but what I mean is some people look at living in those ways or those days as very primitive, and it's for us to really find the harmony and the balance of it. We need to restore, we need to return to understanding the earth and having a true respect for earth so that we can get the codes. Now we have evolved to a point where we really know how to really read the earth at a more evolved state if we allow ourselves to respect it the way they did, which means to extract information, to communicate within the earth. And by doing so, you expand your consciousness that much more. So, yeah, our indigenous people were able to connect through the earth and have this transit in time, this 4D type of experience through the sharing of information with the earth and with the animals within the earth, right? So, yes, there were variations of that. Mm, hi, hi. Hello, hello, greetings, love and light. Somebody said I will never visit dirty Jamaica. Whoa, those are some harsh words, but I can't completely disagree because sometimes there's some places, some parts that don't look so clean, but we have that everywhere. We have that everywhere. There's dirty parts of America. There's dirty America. There's dirty, you know, Asia, dirty Africa. We got dirty parts of everywhere. And I'm not even just talking the literal. Okay, there's energetically, we got some, and this is why I said Jamaica is a beautiful place, but at the same time, me coming from there, me having ancestry there, it's definitely a fight and a spiritual battle. When I go there, I gotta get geared up for war. It is like I have to go through a spiritual dialysis every time, peeling layers after layers because there is still that bad mind energy that is there. That's what you call dirty mind. So that part is dirty. The energy, yeah, can be real dirty, can be real grimy, right? The way people deal with each other, looking, tit for tat, and, and that's everywhere as well. But I can speak of where me coming from there and what it feels like. Yeah, I get it. But that I don't cross it off. I'm still going there. I'm still traversing through there because I got work to do. I don't care how dirty it is. I got work to do. When you got work to do, you know your calling and you just move on through. I'm here in this dirty earth. We all here in this dirty earth. It's not pretty. It got pretty parts, it got pretty places, it got pretty people, but we got to be cutting through some dirty, murky waters, some dirty energies. Ashe, we got that funny money here on earth. That dirty money is what I call funny money. And I'm not just talking about this. All right, money is currency. Energy is currency, and people got some funny currency. So we got to move through that. And it ain't always easy, but it's work. And we can't be afraid to traverse through that. I mean, that's why we here. We here on earth to have this experience. You better move. You better make moves, right? Yes, the spirit of the place, it has a heavy spirit over it. Like I said, so does the entire earth. Look at just things going on in this world right now. And I don't get too caught up in the news. I don't get, that's, the surface level stuff. I don't really deal with it. But in energy, yeah, the energy is ugly. But when you understand the unity frequency and when you live in the love frequency and one mind consciousness, you know the beauty that exists in the love frequency. And you commit to being a light bearer, a light bringer. And wherever I go is beautiful, is truth, beauty, and goodness where I walk. That's the frequency that I walk in. And when more of us lighthouses walk with that, then we become light colonies. We light up the light grid. This is why y'all see the ish happening right now, because of the influx of light and those of us who are equipped to channel this light. Don't worry about what everybody else doing. What they say, the best change you could be is you can be the change in the world. The best way to change the world is to be the change. And I don't mean by fighting. The fight is within here. The battle is within here. What are you getting rid of in your soul that makes your energetic field around you harmonize with the true field of information in this earth that connects and lights up to the next body and the next body? And then it helps us multiply the light grid. Ashe? How much are you sure? I'm sure. I'm sure about what I'm saying. I'm sure about mine. Ashe? Okay. Let me see if I missed anybody else. So, remember, it's all about alchemy. It's how you alchemize. We come here and we see what it is, but as light bodies, as light warriors, it's our job to alchemize the energy, to shift, move, change in consciousness. This is where all the work is done. And when you change your consciousness, you change your field. When you change your consciousness, you change the core of your being. You change your energy centers, which also changes your auric field from the inside out, because your energy centers are doorways to your consciousness. You see how that works? So when you change your consciousness, you are changing the energy centers through the core of your energetic field, your energetic body, which changes the torus field of you and changes the field of information around you. So it all starts in the mind. It all starts with you. Right? So with that said, before I go, what was I saying? Confirmation. So to close out this 6-6 portal, and what has been happening with and thank you for those who are portaling through with me, those of us who are transcending together, who are moving and shifting and sifting through time and portaling through this 6-6 portal. Right? And the next day, as I said, is a 9-9 portal by the 5D calendar. Get it? By the 5D calendar. order your 5D calendar. It's at a 5D corner near you. All y'all got to do is email me and I will send it to you. Get you your tool of the 5D consciousness. Get you your tool of helping you to get on a true timeline. Ashe, so thank you for portaling through on these higher frequencies, on these higher altitudes. And there's always more that we could share. Y'all know I'm going to come with it and share what I could share with you. Before I go, what I want to say about this portal that I particularly saw, and I'm going to share it, and whoever it resonates with, it resonates with. It's a confirmation, as I said, of the self-mastery of detaching. And there has been some detaching. Someone here mentioned that this is a metamorphosis. So yes, as we are changing, as we're metamorphosing through, and going through the chrysalis stage, and that's always the uncomfortable stage, and it has been uncomfortable, particularly since March, since around the Pisces season. So this moon in Pisces is really, bringing that back to the forefront and bringing the confirmation of what has been presented to be detached, right? What needs to be detached from, and it's particularly, especially with families, right? As Jupiter has been in Cancer. So what needs to be detached? And being comfortable with that. And today, I don't know how many of you have felt it throughout the day, earlier, in the day of 6/6, but it was kind of ringing through and ringing true to me, reminding me this is confirmation of being able to detach. And I had been detaching from certain family members and just obligations. A lot of us sometimes feel obligated to do particular things for particular people, and just even within ourselves. And sometimes when you can't, it hits you in your sacral chakra as guilt. And it feels so liberated to be able to stand in your boundaries and not feel any guilt whatsoever based on things that are true. Right? And so when you check within yourself, I've checked my intuitions, and this is through simple stuff, right? Checked my intuition today that, okay, it was my daughter's birthday, took her out for the day, took her to a nice little water park, and lately I've been wanting to just really be to myself and not around others at all, particularly family, really shutting down on that as I detach. And so not inviting other family members, other little children. It's like, oh, you should. And it's like, I wanted to make sure my intentions were clear. So I reached out and I did, but they couldn't make it for whatever reason. So universe had it that way. And as I went through the day, I realized it really feels good to detach. And I get the confirmation that this is how it was supposed to be, because it was so freeing. I didn't have to worry about others. Like usually when you do little parties and stuff like that, you got to make sure everybody all right, and if they not, there's guilt there. And believe me, it's so freeing. I don't know, this may not be for everybody, but this was so freeing. This is what I'm practicing right now, to keep myself to myself, right? This is a time to kind of be recluse, keep myself to myself, keep my children to myself. Stay in your lane, minding my own soul business, because I am digging in the mines of my soul. I am a soul miner right now. I'm in the depth of the soul, right? And I've been practicing this, but this is a whole nother level. And so the confirmation came through with this portal. The receptivity is like the universe is saying, receive your confirmation. Here's your receipt that you did what you were supposed to do. The detachment is true. You are now in the true time reality. There is a freedom and a liberation that comes with that. Do you feel that? And especially when I check my heart, when I check my intuition, and because we got to make sure ego's not in the way, because the ego will get in the way and say, oh, I'm not supposed to be around them, this and that. And I got to double check that. That's why I had to make sure I reach out still and be like, okay. And I look at the way things are given to me. There were some passes that we had that comes with, a free pass with each one. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to overexert myself and try to say, well, I'm going to pay for everybody. I said, you know what? If they can get in on the free pass, then they can come. So that's what I offered. But as Spirit had it, they couldn't make it anyway. And when I got there, the extended free part of the pass was already what did they say, expired. So ooh, I didn't even look at it like that now. See, as I'm telling you the story, another part of it is unfolding, so it's like, ooh, that has expired. So confirmation, again, when I got there, it was confirmed. This is how I read energy, y'all. Nothing is just surface level. So when I got there, it was saying, ooh, that expired. That part of your past where you can carry somebody free with you has expired. Stop carrying, I don't know who this message is for. Stop carrying somebody free with you. That part of you carrying them with you freely in your mind, in your consciousness, in your life, world, and affairs has expired. Set your boundary. Confirmation that that is expired. Don't overexert yourself. And this is how I find the balance of when I'm dealing with people. Offer something, but don't overexert yourself. If it is within means, if they could get in on that free pass, then sure. Right? And this is how you know it wasn't meant to be, because they didn't come anyway. But I did my part. I offered within my means what could be done. Right? And even if it's not to say I couldn't afford it, but within my means energetically. And sometimes we have to look at physically, when I say within my means, look at physically what you're willing to do and overexert yourself with. And I saw that and was like, okay, so Spirit handed it back to me. And that's the message I'm sharing with you too right now. It's expired. We got to stop carrying people around free on that pass with you. That's expired. It's no more. You don't owe no obligations to no one. Right? And so as that day that went through, by the end of the night, I had another confirmation. I had a relative call me. They would call me or I called them, and it was like, this is when I was in Jamaica too, and it was like, your family member, this is a family member that's saying that because of me, they had to spend money that they would not have had to spend. Mind you, this is my vehicle, my car, but because I didn't give them my vehicle, they had to spend something more. And I was like, when I say freedom is on me, y'all, I was like, that don't got nothing to do with me. I'm not wearing that. You need to be within your means. If you had not been, if that particular family member had not been manipulating, and the good thing is this family member that told me, I had already told them what was going on when I was there. So they were already aware that this person was working through manipulation, and I was not responding to the manipulation. I was mastering watching the energies, and it wasn't an easy thing to do, y'all. Right? Because it was something simple. At surface level, it was something simple, like just lend them your car, they'll be right back. And I get it, but it was about the principality. And the principality was telling me, no, this person does not respect you. Do not give them your mode of transportation. Your car represents you. It is your mode of transportation. Do not give them that. They don't respect you, and they're trying to manipulate you. So I had to stand firm on something that was simple. It would have been easy for me to say, yes, go ahead and take it, but it was difficult. And I did the difficult thing. It was difficult for me to sit there and be like, yeah, I see where I could lend it to you, but I'm not going to. Right? And I couldn't even break down the explanation of why, because they don't comprehend the frequencies. Again, we're timelines apart. So it doesn't even make any sense to break it down. So anyhow, bring it back forward. Right now, the person is now saying that I caused them to have to spend and mess up their money in their accounts. And it's like, oh, no, no, no. You did that because you were being stubborn. You were manipulating, and I wasn't allowing you to manipulate. So you had to, because you wanted to do what you wanted to do anyway, in your ego, in your will, in your personal will, you decided to spend what you did not have. And then want to blame me. So I say that because this was confirmation for me. Now it confirms again how I was there, and you could have utilized, you could have operated differently, but it confirms to me the detachment that I had is true. And here's my receipt. And it made me feel even more on my point for standing on my point, put it that way. It was confirmation. It was my receipt. It was my energetic receipt of, see, this is why we have to be detached. Because you see how people will spin things on you. When you don't show up for them when they want you to, they will turn it around on you and say, you caused them this. And because I'm detached, I'm not, I don't even got to argue with them about it. It's laughable. It's funny because, again, they're giving me funny money, funny currency. So I can sit back and go, okay, thank you. The freedom in that says, thank you for showing me that I mastered that detachment, because the strength that it took for me to not lend them my vehicle was an act of detachment. That was my activity in detaching. See, when we detach, we got to realize there's certain things we can't do for and with people anymore. And it doesn't mean you can't love them. I don't love them any less. But you have to hold your boundaries about what you do and what you share with them. There are going to be people that you can't cook for anymore, that you can't give them money even if they need it. Your need, your greed will not be my need. Your urgency will not be my emergency. We got to set those boundaries. So I say all that to say that was a double confirmation as I was going through the day. It was like, yes, I'm receiving that. In my 6-6 portal of receptivity, I got my receipt. I humbled myself enough to sit and say, yep, look at that. You see what discipline gives you. And then the third little part of that reminded me of someone that I was also sent by spirit to come across their path. And it showed me, see, you did what you was told to do. You followed through. It was them that could not receive. And it was them that, in their lack of receptivity, because of the ego, and I saw it in them, right? Nothing bad about them or anything, but the ego was in its own narrative that it could not see the receptive activity. It could not see me in my feminine suit, right? Because they are a masculine in their male suit, and seeing me, a feminine, in my female suit, only sees the female and does not recognize the receptive activity, which means they do not recognize the wise counsel. So I had to look at that and say, you went and did what you were supposed to do, and that was it. Now, again, another level of detach. I can sit back and detach. And so the confirmation is real in how we show up in, with, and around others. And this is what I mean, the different timelines. I also recognize that, hey, clearly you're in different timelines. They cannot see the timeline that you're in. They cannot see that frequency. And that too is okay. But now and although it was brought to them, if they cannot recognize the wisdom, the receptivity, the receptive activity, then you've done your part. You detach. You drop the wisdom. It's kind of like drop the mic. You drop it and you go. So there's confirmation all the way around that you've done. See? Message. You've done what you could. And now detach. Let go. Right? And when you do, when they catch up, they'll catch up where they catch up. That's how I look at it. Look, it's either you get it or you don't. And it's kind of like just looking at somebody when they fall. When they fall, you'll be all right. I send you love and light. Smile and you keep going. And some people may say that's cruel. Oh, you got to help them up. Well, what did you think I was doing? But because they couldn't see help in the way they thought it looked like, I don't know what they want, but when I was there, I was helping. I was giving a helping hand. But they decided to decline. So now when they're really falling, or when I'm watching them fall, even though they decline, I'm watching them fall. Not saying I wish for anybody's downfall, but I'm watching the tumbling. I'm watching the decline, and it's like, all right, I done gave you my hand. Now I just have to look at you and smile and say, hey, I send you lots of love and light. And guess what? When you do get up and you find this timeline again, you let me know. And the energy will let me know. Let me know that you're ready to grow. And we'll keep it trucking. Faithfully, I'm at a reachable level when you're ready, because time waits for no man. And I'm a vessel in time. So I'm like time. I wait for no man. I'm going to keep moving. So the time it takes for you to get up, for them to get up and catch up, it's going to take some catch up. So that, what does that mean? It's going to take some work. You're going to have to work harder. Right? They felt entitled to your stuff, but your spirit told you to say no. Ashe. That part right there. That was it exactly. Sometimes people feel entitled to you, to your energy, to your physical stuff, to your energy. This is why I had to detach, because there's certain family members that feel entitled to my presence, so that your energy field could tap into and sink your hooks into my energy field and extract and siphon. I think not. You are not entitled to access. And this is what a lot of people don't realize. So if I reach out to you, this is why I said, hey, if there's people that I don't know and I reach out to you, it's for a reason. It is for a reason, and it is not for treason. And it is spirit that has showed me. But when you decline, or when you turn, or when you hesitate, or whatever it is, I will keep moving. And those energetic coordinates are not going to be available like they were in that moment. You are not entitled to that access. Access may be denied by the time you turn around and look back, because our frequencies won't match. There may have been something that aligned in that moment that allowed for an opening. And when spirit highlights something to me, I'm going to always obey spirit. But I, just like spirit, never impose. So if that's where it is, then that's where it goes. That's where the light flow. I go where it flows, where energy flows, right? And I'm gonna do another topic on that. I want to talk more about, not tonight, not tonight. I'm gonna close out now, but keep in mind, be on the lookout, because I'm gonna do a video about, and this has to do with the metamorphosis. So you can look at this as extended of what we're talking about now. It has to do with the metamorphosis and how people are seeing some of us right now. Some of us, where when we walk into a room, and how some people are seeing you, how they may, either be repelled from you or attracted. They may even either be magnetized towards you or repelled. They may be inquiring about you, but it has to do with your light. And I want to go into that a little bit more. So we'll talk about that some more, because this is going to kind of expound on that, and basically letting some of us know the people, as we are metamorphosing, we need to know the people that we are to pull towards, right? How to know the ones that we are to be working with, right? And those are going to be the ones who look at you and celebrate you. And we're going to talk about that, because if they don't, then they don't see you. If they don't respect your light, they don't see you, then those are not the ones that you lean in towards and give your energy to. You keep it cordial and keep it moving, right? I'm not saying be mean to them. I'm just saying they're not the ones, right? Let me see what you said. Exactly. I had to cut off family members. Yep. who actually wanted to energy siphon off me plus more. Exactly. And this is happening big time right now. So we got to honor and respect our energy. Know who we are, where we are, know what timeline you're in, know where they are. Love them right where they are, but hold your boundaries. Be firm and detach mentally, emotionally, so you can know where your vibrational match is. Ashe? So, with that said, I'm going to close us out. It's been a beautiful portaling through with you all. Thank you for those who came through, who were able to tap in, tune up. Remember, if you want a 5D calendar, hit me up. It's at a 5D corner near you. And believe me, it will help you get off of this old timeline. I'm not just saying it, it really is helpful. If you want a natal chart reading, so you can get to know your natal chart and realize the star that you are and your placement in the sky, where you are connected in the cosmos, then I also do natal chart readings. If you need just a regular one-on-one, either spiritual consultation, 5D consultation, anything like that, I am available for those who make themselves available. I ain't available to everybody, but to those who make themselves available and who's ready, I will be available onto you. Ashe, so you can email me or message me. And with that said, enjoy the rest of your portaling. Well, right now, the next day is about to enter. So the next day is when the rising comes in, when day breaks. So we are closing out the night and entering in the next day. So thank you for portaling through. Choo, choo, choo. Peace, love, and light to you. Ooh, ooh. Ashe.